put that down.
That's a good idea.
Let me take my mask off.
That's another good idea.
And let me begin the reading this evening.
Perfect.
Of chapter 15 of Likka Sto Rufus. Right here. Bam!
Likka Sto Rufus.
That's right.
Covered by...
Hey, right in your face.
Got it right in your face. There you go.
Here we go. Chapter 15. Chapter 15 on a rainy night. Ah, boy. Storm is on the way, but not here yet. But we don't have to worry about that. I'm starting off with ZiZi talking about, well, she'll tell you who.
Okay.
I just cannot make myself believe this beast monster is saying the lies he's saying. ZiZi, baby, calm down. Just keep in mind that these 37 psychiatrists and mental health experts told us in the dangerous case of Donald Trump. I haven't read that. I've just seen his niece talk about his neurotic ass. She's cool, but these 37, originally it was 27 shrinks, went out there back in 2017, way before Mary Trump started revealing her insights. The book, edited by Bandy X. Lee, assistant clinical professor in law and psychiatry at the Yale University of Medicine, degrees at Yale, intern at Bellevue, chief resident, Massachusetts General, research fellow at Harvard Medical School. It's like somebody who's been around here. Also, a fellow of the National Institute of Mental Health, worked in several maximum security prisons, co-founded Yale's Violence and Health Study Group, leads a violence prevention collaborators group for the World Health Organization, has written more than 100 reviewed articles, edited academic books, and is the author of the textbook Violence. Willie, sounds like you just read the bio blurb from the dangerous case of Donald Trump. We were having a little fun. The telezooming each other from Frisco to LA. I had just finished a session with Rufus, so I was in touch. So you got that exactly right. I just read you the bio blurb of this woman who said, listen, y'all, I know we're not supposed to reveal psychiatric secrets and all such as that, but we have to suspend some norms and warn you. This motherfucker is nuts. Well, when you read the book, you'll understand a whole lot more about who the beast monster really is. Willie, I hear you loud and clear. But how do you explain, how did these 37 shrinks explain the appeal that this beast monster has for so many millions of people? ZiZi, correction, say so many millions of white folks. That's going to be one of the big questions I'm going to put to Rufus when we get together tomorrow. Or maybe the next day after tomorrow. The brother's playing diva on you, huh? No, nothing like that. It's just about a certain kind of rhythm. If it's time when we go there, then that's where we'll be. Otherwise, it comes off in an off-rhythm way. I have to adjust myself to his rhythm, simple as that. I'll talk to him about this white folks' appeal to the beast monster, as you call him. We continue for a while. Most of it might be considered semi-porno, but we didn't do it that way. In any case, at the end, we agreed on a number of points, and that signaled the beginning of our marriage, long range. Nothing like telephone marriage. We decided to do it at the ocean. All right, Brother Rufus, 2 days ago when we last got together, I know, I missed the day. Please don't whip me, Master Willie. A fake cringe to the left. We had our masks off, sitting at opposite ends of one of these picnic tables they have over at the crest of the hill in Bixby Park overlooking the Pacific. He played me so pitifully well. He made me feel that I was bragging his ass if he missed a day with me. Come on, Rufus, you know I'm not on your case. I'm just keeping my stuff up on the track. He nodded in agreement, I think. The big, beautiful, soft, white flecked waves of the Pacific, it almost seemed a shame to be delving into all of this horrible shit on such a beautiful day. Did I mention that I had bought a small notebook and a couple of ballpoints with me? I was beginning to feel a need for notes on the spot. So let's get back into you tripping around with a fractured ankle, self-medicating, letting nature take its course. Yeah, you got it right, all of it. And you say you went through 10 years of this kind of scene, plus to 20 years of heroin time? Yes, sir. You got that correct. Dirty, blurred, wind-tossed, doodle-splattered, heroin, slobbery, kinky, farted, yearning, fix years. Plus the wino component. Just goes to show you how a human being's body and psyche can take so much. Under the influence of both heroin and alcohol, I remember waking up in the middle of a city street, cars detouring around my body like I was a large boulder in the middle of a small stream. The image of this scene froze my imagination in place. I tried to flee past the scene, but I couldn't. Traffic ran over people. It didn't detour around them. Here was someone telling me that they had lain down in the middle of the street and survived. So how did you escape? Manage not being killed? Good question, Willie. I woke up, realized where I was, and eased off the scene. Easy as that, huh? Well, here I am. He opened the spidery arms of his narrow frame and gave me a broad smile, an unusually broad smile. I noticed that he had a few missing teeth on the top and bottom. It was kind of a Halloween pumpkin effect, but joyful, not sad. Bottom line, Mr. Rufus, sir, how did you get off this heartthrob? You want the instant noodle explanation, sir? You want that? That what you want? I took notice once again, he was always trying to put me on the spot, on the defensive. I was at stage 1 of learning how to defend myself, my perimeters. Rufus, if the instant noodle explanation works for you, it's all right with me. It's your story, my brother. I was getting to him. I could feel it in my backbone, my vertebrae, because they resonated when the truth was being played. Hey, Willie, don't get Wolfman on me, okay? I'm going to tell you this utter profound truth, okay? That's all I'm asking for. That's all I'm asking you for. Concerning the heartthrob thing, I think the first trickle movement happened when I stood in front of this old white guy with the snow white hair who informed me in a matter-of-fact kind of way that he was putting me in jail for 10 years. 10 years in jail for a frame-up. You were framed for a 10-year sentence? Yeah, that's what it was. I'm not going to take you through all of the dreary details, but what happened is that this corrupt cop and this threatened drug dealer had collaborated. The cop told the dealer, "You're going up for some time unless you can throw me some red meat." And that's what they did. The drug dealer gave me a kilo Colombo heroin to deliver to what's-his-name, and they pulled me over in the middle of the transaction. I saw what the situation was right from the get. And I understood what I had to do. I had to do my time. I had allowed myself to be played. I had to pay for that. And I did. In San Quentin. Ever been in a maximum security prison, Willie? Yes, I have. I taught a creative writing class under the auspices of a program called Outreach from 1988 to 1990. Yeah, I've been in San Quentin. Rufus settled back very slowly in the sand dune behind him, softly muttering, "Well, I'll be goddamn. Well, I'll be goddamn." I don't really think that the brother felt I was going to do a real story of Rufus until we got to the San Quentin part. This is what he told me. I titled it Rufus in San Quentin. First thing you have to remember about me being in San Quentin is my size. Standing straight up in my bare feet, I was 5 feet 4 inches tall. Seems like I've shrunk an inch over the years, but I guess that's age. Yeah, it's true, we shrink as we grow older. He sneered at me and didn't have to say it. What the hell do you know about growing old, you young ass punk? He leavened his sneer with a sarcastic smile, took a sip of his tea, and took me into his life in San Quentin. The reason I mentioned my size was because it really mattered in San Quentin. 5 feet 4 inches tall, 120 pounds. I found out weeks later that a bunch of predators had sat around playing cards to decide who was going to be my man. Just think about this, Willie, man. Just think about this. You got 4 or 5 dudes who look like Congolese gorillas sitting around gambling on who was going to be the first to penetrate your round eye, your body, your soul. What they didn't know about me would have filled up a couple of books. A tough little cookie from the nut-busting west side of Chicago, a tunnel rat in Vietnam. I was afraid, but not panicky. I knew in order to survive in that environment, I had to become a little bit crazy, at the same time remain sane. It happened exactly 1 week after I finished my quarantine time and was released into the general population. It took exactly 5 days for it to happen. One of the Congolese gorillas came up behind me in the chow line and pressed his dick up against my back. It felt like an iron pipe or something. I turned around, took careful aim, and punched his dick with all my Hapkido strength. I released a great ki as I punched. This guy's dick was so hard I thought I had hurt my fist punching it. I would never be able to describe the satisfaction I got from hearing this would-be predator scream. Ah! I mean, scream. I heard him bad, Willie. You know what I'm saying? I know what you're saying, Rufus. Then what? They conducted an investigation of the incident and determined that I was guilty of assault of a fellow convict, or something like that. I can't recall the exact wording of the charge, but it entailed me to do 30 days in a hole in solitary confinement. The hole was in a prison, underneath the prison, a real dungeon. It was a place where people went crazy on a regular basis. I saw it for what it was the first minute I was in there. It was a soul breaker, a torture. It took me about 30 hard minutes to determine what I had to do. I went into my tunnel rat mode of thinking with a little mythical help from my old tunnel rat partner, Mr. Strings. We were locked in for 23 hours and let out for an hour of exercise. I refused to go out for the exercise for the first week of my stay in the hole because I was afraid that the gorilla man had put out a hit on me. I have to confess I was really glad that he paused. He gave me time to take a deep breath, to release it slowly, to try to keep my normal in place. After his pause, he carried on just as easy as you please. The whole thing seemed totally crazy to me. We were out on the beach, out on the beautiful beach, with the beautiful ocean in front of us. And here's the brothers rolling all of this horrible shit out in front of me. I was given my second test a couple of days after I got out of the hole. You're always being tested in the joint. Every day is a test of survival. My second would-be predator was found in his cell with his throat slashed from ear to ear. You killed him? That's not what I said, my friend. That's not what I said. I said he was found in his cell with his throat slashed from ear to ear. The police couldn't prove that I had done it, but they decided to give me 30 days in a hole just on GP. I call that my second test. Once again, I went into my tunnel rat mode. I made myself become very, very still for long periods of time. I laid on this futon-type mattress on this stone platform and thought. I know you want to know what I thought. Willie is something else. Of course I want to know what he thought, but I didn't know how to frame the question. There were times when I just laid there and thought about the entire present, where I was, what was happening around me. On a number of occasions, I laid up there and recalled the time of my birth. Come on, Rufus, don't shit me, man. He placed both hands in a cross on his heart. A plea for me to believe what he was saying without a word being spoken. I had to back off from my skepticism. From the time of my birth, I remembered the moment, the time when I was expelled from my mother's womb. It was definitely a shock, believe me. Here I am coming from this deliciously warm place into this big, bright, cold world. Remember, I was born in Chicago, and I don't care what anybody says. If you're born in Chicago, even in the summertime, it's cold. Fellow Chicagoans, we laughed at his statement. Chicago, the almighty hawk, that wind that blows around the corner up into your pants and curdles your nuts. The almighty hawk, yeah, I could relate to that. He had one on me. I couldn't recall the time I was birthed, but I could recall the after. I might have missed a few minutes of the afterbirth, but it didn't take me long to catch up on a bunch of other moments. Dig where I'm coming from, Willie? I hear you, Rufus, I hear you. Then I was doing what I had to do to survive. You're not allowed a whole lot of time to get your shit together if you're born in the ghetto. It was like I could recall each moment that I needed to survive, like infusing myself with energy, a special kind of energy. It was really hard when I heard the faint sound of a cellie down in this dungeon who had given up, had collapsed into madness. And I can recall, I can only become 8 or 9 years old in my imagination. I discovered imagination in the whole. I settled into moments that allowed me to focus on moments. Times when I had lived, some of what I had hallucinated. That's exactly what it was, I think. But I can't say that in any kind of definite way. All in all, spending up to 5 years in a hole, it wasn't a year by year thing. I had a few months of breaks in between. When I look back on it, I have to be honest to say, maybe I had a bunch of shit, did a bunch of shit to get myself in the hole. Don't get me wrong, Willie, the hole was the hole. Meanwhile, when I wasn't in the hole, I was in the library, or I was in some kind of class. I took this speech class 3 times. Concerning the library, I learned how to speed read because I was always afraid that somebody was going to snatch the book out of my hand. One question. Would you say that reading saved you in the joint? Reading helped, but it was the Muslim Brotherhood that really saved me. How did that happen? I became a Muslim. Nothing religious about my decision to convert. It was strictly a matter of survival. I had 2 strikes against me. The Congolese gorilla, the one I had sucker punched in the dick, definitely wanted a piece of me. And the friends of this dude who had his throat cut also wanted me too, because they were convinced that I was guilty. So as soon as I could, I applied for membership in the Brotherhood. Frankly, I think they were kind of glad to bring me in. They wanted a young blood with heart. And I had shown that I had heart. It was definitely a mutual defense thing. What everybody understood about the Muslim Brotherhood was 2 things. 1, 2. Got it? 1, 2. They didn't take no shit from nobody, not even from the police. They were respected. And if you messed over one of the brotherhood, you had the whole brotherhood to deal with. I don't exactly know how many brothers we had because there was a lot of brotherhood sympathizers, lots. I'm telling you, my ass would have been worth a plug nickel if I hadn't joined the brotherhood. We had just about reached the end of our thread for the day, except for one more question. Rufus, I was talking to ZiZi recently. ZiZi, your lady? Yeah, my lady. She asked me an interesting question. She asked me, why do you think so many white folks have fallen under the Trump spell? She called him the beast monster. That really is an interesting question. Let me think on it. October 2020. It was like the whole country was inside of some kind of turbine. The virus was burning through. People were lining up to get food. The political scene was white hot. Trump again or Biden. The Nazis had resurfaced. Races had been reupholstered. So much shit was happening at the same time. People were babbling in tongues, strolling down the streets everywhere. I said in my writings that's the same day that I had asked Rufus the question about white folks falling for the beast monster's game and wrote 100 times, do not panic. 100 times I wrote this and read it back to myself out loud after I finished. These 3 words became my mantra. Boy, before I went to sleep at night, I read it and said it. When I woke up, I said it and read it, and at different times during the day. I was determined to do 2 things. 1, 2. Before the end of the year, in order to start 2021 in good form, in high gear. Finish getting all of what I needed from Rufus in order to write conversations in a way that would be appealing to a lot of people. And number 2, clear all of the negative truth out of my head, out of my life, so that I could receive the woman I loved, my precious ZiZi, with a clean slate. That's the end of chapter 15.
Woo!
We'll go on to chapter 16 next Tuesday.
Thank you
Same
very
time,
much.
same place.
Thank you very much. Your website is www.odihawkins.com. Books can be purchased on Amazon, or just put in the name of the book, Conversations with Likka Sto Rufus, or Odie Hawkins' name, and you'll be able to find out where you can purchase this book and or his other works. Well, with that, looking forward to next Monday and Tuesday. Next Tuesday.
At 7:30 sharp.
Gotcha.
I'm going to be right here.
Here, I'll be here with you.
Okay. Really
Okay.
gonna appreciate that.
Well,
It
Miss.